Hey, Dad. How was the session?
It was really fun.
Cool.
It was really fun. It's always very nerve-wracking because, of course, there's such a history to this studio and the recordings that are made here and just everything. I mean, it's so professional and just so held in such high regard. And it's an honor and a privilege to get to record here. So like when you know it's coming up, you start to like get nervous, and then you realize that it's at 9:30 in the morning, and you're like, oh man. I had a lot of fun. I really did have a lot of fun. We had our friend Kaylee come in, Kaylee Goldsworthy. We did "Losing My Religion" by R.E.M. And that was a song that Kaylee and I talked about, like when we toured together in the States. We just loved so much. We're just both big R.E.M. fans, and we actually just did it for fun one night. And like the last night of tour, she was like, "I have a mandolin. Let's just try it in a stairwell." And we recorded it on my iPhone in a stairwell in like San Francisco or something like that. And it was like, oh my God, this would be so fun to actually record one day. We knew we were doing a tour coming up, and literally 2 days ago, I was like, Kaylee, I have an idea. You know, we've been trying to record this. We didn't have any studio time, but we're gonna be recording at the BBC. Like, this is our studio time. This is when we do it. And so we rehearsed it like twice on the bus, and then came here and did it. Yeah.
So whilst in Australia a year ago, the band were unloading their trailer and they got hit by another vehicle, and we asked them how they were getting on a year later.
It'll be a year actually on this tour. We're playing the night of the anniversary in Glasgow, I believe, and it's crazy. I can't believe it's been a year. You know, it's funny, like injuries like that. I think the recovery is non-linear, so it gets kind of frustrating. Like you have really good days and then you have really bad days and stuff like that. But I think when something like that happens to you, it changes your entire landscape in your head. You know, you think about things differently. You kind of assess what's really important and stuff. And I think initially it was very much like it was this feeling of like fighting it, like being like, oh, it's not going to be taken from me. I need to get back out there and go. And it was like almost like a defiant, kind of stance. And now that that's happened, it's like, all right, great. Like we did it. Now I really need to take some time for myself and really get my head straight and my body like in better shape from all the injuries and stuff like that. Yeah. So now I think it's time to like kind of settle down a little bit. Yeah. So this is gonna be like the last one for a little while, and that's that. I think I'm okay with it finally. Like since I was 19, I haven't been off the road, and I've never been okay with being off the road. Right now, I feel like I'm okay with it. The EP is called "Keep the Coffins Coming." It's a 4-song EP that we recorded with Steel Albini in Chicago. Man, what an experience! A total bucket list. It was one of those things where in between the touring of stomach aches and writing and recording for Parachutes, I sat down with my manager Paul, and he's like, "What's next?" I was like, "I have no idea what's next." I'm writing, but I'm trying to figure that out. And he's like, "Well, what are the things that you've always wanted to do that you haven't gotten to do? Let's start there." And we made this list, and I started checking it off. And Steve was up there at the top, and I gave him a call, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." And we went in and had 3 days with him and recorded 4.5 songs, I would say. The 4 whole songs made it to the EP. It was a great experience, man. I'll never forget it. We did Helter Skelter. It's one of my favorite songs, and I think it's just so much fun to play. It just is, man. It's like such a ripper, I always like to try to throw like 1 or 2 into a set. I think it's fun. And this time around, I was like, all right, man, we're gonna be playing. We had a Liverpool date, and I knew we were doing a BBC recording, and I was like, all right, it would be totally dumb and horrible, and no one does it like Beatles covers because you just shouldn't cover the Beatles. And I was like, but we should totally cover the Beatles and play it in Liverpool and record it at BBC. And I was like, because that takes a lot of balls, and like we should totally do that. I'd like to think that we did paid a little bit of homage and did a little bit of justice to it.